Hello there, happy people. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to Beyond the Lines. My name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and today I'm going to work on a monochrome coloring page again to tell you a bit more about yellow, especially when it comes to Copic markers and you not having a lot of shades, how you can achieve something maybe cartoony but still have the lighting right, and what you can convey with the way you choose colors. I'm working in the Happy World coloring book, and I chose this particular page to color with very, very few supplies. So you don't have to have every shade of one color in the book. You just maybe need a few, and they're quite a bit apart, and still you can achieve something that you maybe find useful in the way you do art, or maybe you try a new style just because you're not having every shade of a color in a certain medium. So join me and find out why I chose to do what, and how I put down quite some ink there, some alcohol ink. Next week I'm going to be back with a new yellow coloring video, but then we're going to go away from the cartoonish bright colors to the nature colors. So come back next week, but for now, enjoy watching along this particular Copic coloring. So let's get started. I'm going to work on this one here, like you saw, and I'm having, besides black, which I just took just to be sure. I haven't decided on using it. I'm actually having 4 tones of yellow, where one of them, this one here, being actually a skin tone or something. It has an E color, not a Y color, but it is a dull ivory, so that is close enough to the yellow for me to use it. It's not probably gonna be my go-to color right away, but I want to show you how I work with the yellows. I'm not having a lot of yellows with the Copics, and most of them, as you can see here, are pretty dry. So this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna do as much coloring as I can, but I'm pretty much just shading with the yellows. I'm leaving most of it white, actually, and I'm having a acrylic plate underneath so that I don't have everything bleed through the next 5 pages. So I'm shading this creature with the pale yellow, and that is what I meant with the comic-y style in last week's video. I don't have to color everything solid per se, but sometimes it's actually enough to just shade with one color if you're working monochrome, and maybe you're not having a lot of pigment left, like I do here. I probably have to have a pause in a minute because I'm not getting any color out of it. I'm not rebuying Copics per se. I'm not using them enough to actually pay €8 or more per marker. So I'm just gonna give it a break now here, and I'm going to another marker that is way more juicy and also a bit more golden looking. It's actually called, what's it called? Buttercup Yellow, one of my favorite colors from the Copics. And I'm going to color the arm or wristbands with it. Looks golden, so I think that could work. And it also gives me something to color very boldly while my marker here refreshes and I can shade with a bit of pale yellow. Otherwise, I would have to use another marker to shade, which would be fine as well. Also want the buttercup here. And also in the eye. Let's have a buttercup eye. And I'm definitely gonna use the ivory skin tone to help with shading. It's yellow enough for me to be okay to use, though it actually has an E number, like I said. But it has a yellowish tint there, or an ivory yellowish tint, I'd say. There we go. Let's see if it did smoothen a bit. Nah, gosh, nope. Could really just use a tiny bit more of the pigment. Please, 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 Copics. Just a little bit, not much. Just a tad, as they say. So what you could do is, if you have one major color, this one here, very, very bright, and the rest is more on the pastel or softer scale, you could make it work by using the pale colors to shade and to add the detail, and the bright color to be the outline pretty much, and a little bit of detail here and there. But you see, need the ear. Needs to be shaded a bit or outlined. And of course the eye. If I would work as much with the Copics as I work with the Faber-Castells or the Tombos, I would definitely rebuy or buy refillers, but I don't. So I don't think it's fair to spend tons and tons of euros on them with me then not using them all the time. I tried them and I really like them, but I do prefer other media, so that is why I'm not rebuying alcohol markers per se. It might be that later on in life I will, but not for now. So now I have to see. Actually need, oh please, marker, live for the tail of this lovely creature here. There we go. Okay. Need to shade with the ivory again. And I'm leaving a lot of things white. For now, I'm going to introduce black in a second. Like, for example, this triangle here, I want to have that black. But first, I want to shade things. Also, this teardrop is going to be black, and I'm going to have a little bit of white marker on it. I want to have the flower in the bright yellow, so the buttercup will be in these shapes here. That are maybe like a tattoo or a dress or something, or body, jewelry, necklace? I don't know what you want to call it. It's very difficult to work monochrome with Copics if you don't have a lot of shades. So that's also another reason I'm not gonna rebuy per se. Or at least not for a while. Again, I don't know what the future holds. I'm not saying I will never use them again, but for now I'm not using them enough to justify buying. And I'm having colors where I have quite a couple of shades, so the nudes and browns and grays, I have quite a couple of shades, so I could really work with those, but I'm not, so I'm using them now and then just to switch things up, but not enough. Problem with this particular coloring book is that, of course, the Copics bleed like hell, but that is fine, I think, because for one, I'm not gonna use that side here, and I'm just using that coloring book to show you what you could do, though you might think, oh, I can't do anything because I'm not having those shades, or I'm not having this or that or whatever. Yeah. Let's go to the body of this creature. Before I start working on the head. I'm trying to repair too heavy bleeding of the markers here with a white gel pen. It's not perfect, but again, you get the idea of what I like to do with yellows. Or what I mean when I say you can work cartoony. All right. The body is done. Now I need the crown. I want... I call it crown. It could also be just a head. But I want this to be pretty sweet. So a lot of buttercup yellow with a bit of the ivory and a tiny little bit of black. And then I'm going to introduce the final color, the bright cat yellow. But like I said, that's gonna be the cartoony part that I had talked about in last week's video, so a tiny bit at the end, just to set things apart from how I colored with the what's it called? Shoot. With the Faber-Castells. God damn, that was cannot really talk, but I need this, this, and this, and then feather that out with the ivory. There we go. Need a few more buttercup drops here, just solid buttercup. Then I'm going to add a bit more black, and then it's time for yellow, for bright cat yellow. So I need to add a bit of black just to intensify contrast. Now it's time to add the bright color. So I'm going to start here. The idea is to make it comic-y. One hoping that this ink doesn't show through here, but this is super juicy. Just have bold colors in either a very large chunk of your painting or drawing, not shaded at all, or have it in the background like I do here, and have only very little shading going on in your focal point. I just have a bit of shading here, but this is just a pure color, the pale yellow, And the black and the buttercup yellow are in very many places not shaded at all. So though these are maybe a bit more pastel or subtle colors, they are still bold because, well, they're not shaded. And if you have only very few colors or shades of a certain color, but you want to do something cartoony, take the brightest shade of that color or the pure shade of that color and use it for the biggest chunk, the biggest surface, the biggest thing on your drawing or coloring page, and have a solid one layer. It will make it look cartoony and kind of flat, but that is an art style worth going for if you only have very, very, very limited supplies. Can see how juicy this marker is. I did not really use it a lot, but you see it dries back. The ink lines that you can see here from the other side of this page won't be visible all the time. Once the alcohol ink is dry, it dries back solid, like down there. Usually, or very often, when you color or when you make a drawing, you forget about the background, meaning if there is no landscape or object or anything in the background that has any kind of shape, very many artists, especially in the beginning, if you're more of a seasoned artist and you've been doing things for a long time, you might remember. But very often people forget the background. And yes, the focal point, of course, is the most important thing because, well, it is the focal point of your piece of art, but if it is embedded into a very nice, maybe colorful background, it could feel very different than on a white page. I think this creature here felt very different and unfinished without a background, but now it is in a scene. It is in such a heavy light of sun or such a bright sunlit yellow room, maybe, that it looks very different now than it did with the white background. And now with the pale yellow being so subtle, it looks like this is a reflection of the background. This very bright yellow now reflects onto this creature here, and actually, would the background be white, there wouldn't be any pale yellow here, for example. You know what I mean? You could work like that very easily. See, this is what the background looks like. You could work with that very, very easily with pretty much any color combination where you have a bright tone and a few very subtle tones or pastel tones. And that is it for now. I'm gonna leave it as it is. I hope you enjoyed watching along and learned something from from my coloring. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Next week, I'm going to work with watercolors in the Secret Garden book and show you a bit of the yellows there and go a bit more into nature and less into cartoon style of coloring with one color. Like this video if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend if you think there was some useful information in it, and well, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and well, want to see lots of art videos throughout the week, and also board game videos and a weekly vlog. There's lots of entertainment here, and I'm gonna see you next week. Enjoy, have fun, take good care, and thanks again for watching. Bye!